Hi everyone, in this video I'm going to be working through this grade 4 maths paper. This is good preparation as you head into your maths exams. And yeah, let's jump straight into it. Please let me know in the comments if there's any other questions you want me to go through. So you can kind of see this is how your paper would look. You've got lots of instructions, you've got an example here. We can see multiple choice questions. What I would recommend for multiple choice questions is try answer the question first before you even look at the options. Okay, so 8 times 6, you would know that's 48. If you didn't know that, remember, you can always fall back, so 8 times 6, so you can work out your 8 times table, or you could do 6 times 8, whichever is easiest. I would usually go with my 6 times tables, and I would just count, so 6, 12, 18. Remember, you're just adding 6 every time, okay? So if you're really stuck, go for it like that. I know many of you do know your times tables. You would just keep counting, so 6, 12, 18, 24, then we get 30, 36, 42, and then 48. So we can see that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, so it's 8 sixes. Let's have a look at some other questions. Okay, so like I said, try answer the question before you even look at the options, because sometimes the options are there to try trick you a little bit. So which number is 100 more than 6215? Okay, so this 100 more means whatever number we've got, we're going to add on 100 to it. Okay, so they like using this tricky wording. You've got to figure out what they're actually asking. So which number is 100 more than this? You're going to use your column method of adding, or whichever method works for you. And you're going to write them underneath each other. So 6215, add that 100. And 5 add 0 is 5. 1 add 0 is 1. 2 add 1 is 3. 6 add nothing is 6. So you can see the number that is 100 more than 6215 is 6315, which is B. If we look at the second question, okay, 4, 5, 1, 2 rounded to the nearest 100. So what I would do for a question like this is write out your number. So 4,512. Sorry, 4,512. And then I would write, I've got thousands, hundreds, tens, and units, or ones. Okay, they want us to round to the nearest 100. So we are looking at the 5, and then the number next to it tells us if we're rounding up or down. Okay, so let's get a different color quick. Okay, so this 1 is going to tell us if we round up or down. So if you have 4,512, let's just look at the 512 part. So that 1 would tell us that we are going to round down. So we are going to end up with 4,500. If it's confusing you with the 4,000 in front, just take this part out. So you could always just say, what would 512 to the nearest 100 be? Okay, so 512, if you rounded it to the nearest 100, would just be 500. Okay, and then you can just chuck that 4 back in front again. Okay, so just be careful when they say to the nearest 100, just underline the one that they want you to round, and then look at the number next to it. Okay, so this one's 4,500. Which answer describes this sequence? So 3, 6, 9, 12 in words. Okay, so I would just go through and cross out which ones are not relevant. So let's see, multiples of 6. So multiples of 6, that's like the 6 times tables. Okay, so 6, 12, 18, and so on. Okay, so multiples just means time tables. So we can see that's definitely not the right sequence. So let's cross that out. Factors of 15. So these are numbers that fit into 15. So factors fit inside. So we could say 1 goes into 15, 3 goes into 15, 5 goes into 15, 15 goes into 15. Okay, so that is also definitely not the sequence. We can see it's not that 3, 6, 9, 12. Add 4, well, let's just test. So if we have 3, that's the first number, and we add 4, we are going to get 7. If we add 4 onto that, we are going to get 11. Okay, so that sequence would be 3, 7, 11, and so on. Again, that's definitely not the right one. So we can cross that out, and so that means we must have D as our answer. If we check ourselves, multiples of 3, that means the 3 times tables. So 3 times 1 is 3, 3 times 2 is 6, 3 times 3 is 9. So you can see it is definitely the right sequence, this one. Question 1.4, which one of the following shapes is a hexagon? Okay, again, if you're not sure, if you can't remember, sometimes you just freeze with the hepta, hexa, penta. Go through and eliminate the ones that you do know are definitely not hexagons. So I know a rectangle is definitely not a hexagon, and a triangle is definitely not a hexagon. And then we've just got to decide between these two. So then you've got a 50% chance of getting right. Okay, what I try to remember is a pentagon. So pentagon has 5 sides. I always think of the pentagon as like a doghouse, because that's kind of what it looks like to me. Okay, so we can see this one has 5 sides. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that is our pentagon. You can see it looks a bit like a doghouse. So if we cross that one out, it means this has to be our hexagon. And we know hexagon then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 sides. That is our hexagon. If we look at the next few questions, so what are the next 2 numbers in the number sequence below? So we got 1,150, 1,300, 1,450. We want to know what are the next 2 numbers. With number sequences, you need to figure out what are you adding on each time. Okay, so a trick to do this is you can work backwards if that helps you. So I would go the biggest number, 1,450, take away 1,300. Okay, so take away the numbers next to each other. So 0 take away 0 is 0, 5 take away 0 is 5, 4 take away 3 is 1, and 1 take away 1 is 0. Okay, so we can see the difference is 150. Okay, so what that means is every single time we are going to be adding on 150. You can check it for this one as well, but it will also work. So 1,300 take away that 1150, and you're also going to get 150 as your answer. Okay, so that means every single time in this pattern, when we move on, we add 150. So to find the next 2 numbers, you just have to add 150. Okay, which is quite a lot working out, but it's not too difficult. So we're going to say, let's get a different color. So we're going to say we've got 1450. I want the next number in the sequence, so I'm going to add 150. Just make sure you line it up nicely. 0 add 0 is 0. 5 add 5 is 10. Carry the 1. 4 add 1 is 5. Add 1 is 6. And 1 add nothing is 1. So we got 1,600 next. And then we are going to add 150 again to get to the next one. Okay, so we've got 1,600 now, and we want another 150 added on. Okay, 0 add 0 is 0. 0 add 5 is 5. 6 add 1 is 7. 1 add nothing is 1. Okay, so 1750 is the next number. Okay, so we can see then our answer has to be C. Okay, 1.6, which unit of measurement is used to determine the distance? Okay, so let's just highlight that word. So distance between Joburg and Cape Town. Okay, so distance, let's go through and rule out everything. Okay, they're all distance, so that's fine. Let's go through and check. So how I like to try and remember these things is I would write down, okay, so a millimeter is really short. Then we've got a centimeter, which is a bit bigger. Then we've got a meter, which is a bit bigger. And then we've got kilometers, which are even bigger. Okay, so if I was measuring the distance between Joburg and Cape Town, I wouldn't use a millimeter because that's like the tip of a pencil. I wouldn't use a centimeter because that would be like a ruler. I wouldn't use a meter because that's like you would measure the size of a person with that. So it would have to be kilometers, which is A. That is unfortunately one of the questions you have to know those units, otherwise you're really going to struggle with those questions. Okay, 1.7, which one of the 3D objects below has a flat surface and a curved surface? Okay, so I would go through and rule out which ones don't have flat surfaces, which ones don't have curved surfaces. Okay, so this first one, it doesn't have a curved surface, okay? It's got nothing curvy about it, it's all just straight lines. This one doesn't have a flat surface. Okay, okay, it's all curved. This one doesn't have a curved, it's all just straight lines. And so this one is going to be the one that has a flat and a curved surface, because you can see it's got this flat surface at the top here, and then it's got this round surface, this round surface going around there. So that is the one that has a flat surface and a curved surface. Question 1.8, what view of the car is shown? Okay, so usually you can tell this pretty easily. So are you looking at it from the front? No, we're not. We are looking at it from the side. We're not looking at it from the top, and we're not looking at it from the back. In which shape does the dotted line show symmetry? So symmetry means I can fold the star in half, and it folds exactly. It's not some weird fold. Okay, so which one is going to fold it in half? So we can see this one, that's not going to work. This one will work. That's not going to work. And that's not going to work. So you just got to imagine a star, and if you folded it, which one would fold really nicely and perfectly? Okay, then we get into question 2, where now we're moving away a little bit from the multiple choice questions. We're starting to do some actual questions. So question 2, we've got to fill in a greater than, a less than, or an equal sign to make the correct statement. So what I would do with this kind of question is I would be working out both sides first, because we can't do much at the moment with it looking like that. So I would be working out, let's see, on this side, we've always got to do, remember BODMAS, so you've got to do your brackets first. So 16 add 4, that gives us 20, and then minus 20, because we've still got this part. On this side, we've got to do these brackets first. So 20 add 4 gives me 24 minus 16. And then let's work out. Okay, so we've still got this line here. We haven't filled that in yet. So 20 take away 20, we are going to have 0. 24 take away 16, we are going to have 8. And then you've just got to decide, okay, are they equal? So obviously not. We can't, 0 and 8 are not the same thing. So it can't be equal. So it's going to be one of these crocodile mouths. So you've just got to think, the crocodile always opens his mouth to the bigger number. Okay, so in this case, the crocodile is going to go for the 8. So literally, if it helps you, imagine a little crocodile, and he's going to go for the bigger number, okay, because they're really hungry. So crocodiles go for the bigger number. So then you can fill in your final answer and say, okay, well, we want this symbol because this side is bigger. Next up, rewrite the given numbers from the biggest to the smallest. Okay, so what I find helps me is I would write them underneath each other first. Okay, 5, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 5, 2, 4, 3. Okay, so what you've got to do is you're going to start on the left-hand side and see which one has the biggest numbers. So they've all got 5s here. Okay, let's get a different color. They've all got 5, so we know they're all 5,000. Okay, so that doesn't help us too much. Then we're going to look in the next column. So we're going to look in the hundreds column. Okay, let's just write that. So we got thousands, hundreds. Next up, we're looking in the hundreds. So this is 300, 200, 400, 200. Okay, so obviously the biggest one is going to be the 400. Okay, so that is our biggest number. So you check, okay, all the thousands are the same, so then the hundreds are going to be the decider. So we're going to have 5,432. That's our biggest number. Let's get rid of it now so we're not confused by it. What is the next biggest 100? Okay, so we've got 300, 200, and a 200. Okay, so obviously this 300 is the biggest one. Sorry. Okay. Sorry, my pen wasn't selected. Okay, so that is our biggest one then. So we've got 5,342 is our next one. Again, we're just going to cross it out so we're not getting confused by it. And then we're going to look again. Okay, so now both of the hundreds are the same because we've got 5,200, 5,200. Okay, so both of those 2s are the same. So now we've got to look at the 10s. This one we've got 34, this one we've got 43, so that one is our next one. Okay, so 5, 2, 4, 3, and then 5, 2, 3, 4. Okay, they really try to confuse you because all the numbers are the same, but let's just check. So 5,400 is the biggest. Then we've got 5,300, that makes sense. Then 5,240, then 5,230. Okay, so that makes sense, biggest to smallest. So just take your time, work through it, see if it makes sense. Let's keep going. Okay, now we've got a pattern question, so draw the next shape. Okay, so we've got this kind of triangle. Let's color these in. So we've got this one in blue. Then we've got, let's use orange. Then we've got this orange triangle. And then we have this block, which is purple. Okay, so that's kind of the start of the pattern. Then we can see immediately it starts repeating. So we've got the blue triangle again. Then we've got a different one. Let's use red. Slightly different, but then we've got that same block again. Okay, so if it helps you with the colors, that's good. If it doesn't, then you can use a different method. Again, we've got the blue. And then we've got the orange one again. And then the block. So you can see a definite pattern going on here. And then we've got the blue again. Okay, so if we look at this, we've got blue, orange, purple, blue, red, purple, blue, orange, purple, blue. So the next one we can imagine is going to be that red one again. Okay, so that's kind of the pattern. So we can see next up, we're going to have that red one again. Hopefully that helps you kind of see that a bit better with the colors. If you didn't have colors in the test, you're just going to have to try see, okay, what would the next one be? Just try reason it through. Okay, look at the information in the table below and answer the questions that follow. Okay, so fill in the amount of change received. So, someone went to the shop, they buy a toy guitar, they pay with 200 Rand notes, and the toy costs 75 Rand. So, first of all, we need to work out how much change they're going to get. So, we always need to, if we want to work out how much change, we always take the biggest number. So, it was 200 Rand. Take away the cost, the smallest number, 75. Okay, so we're going to go 0, take away 75. We can't do that. So we're going to have to do some borrowing. We can't borrow from here, so we have to borrow from here. So we're going to say, okay, let's make that into a 1. This becomes 10. We need to borrow from there, so it becomes 9. And this is 10. 10 take away 5 is 5. 9 take away 7 is 2. And 1 take away nothing is 1. So we can see we are going to get 125 Rand in change. If we then look at the next question, they say, the cost of the toy is 75 Rand. How much would the toy cost if it is sold for half of its price? Okay, so we want to know half of 75. Okay, how you work out half, or if it's confusing with the fraction, you can just write it like this as well. So half of 75. So how we work out half is we always say we're going to divide it by 2. Okay, so we're going to have to say 75 divided by 2. So if we do our division here, we can say 75 in the middle divided by 2. So how many times can 2 go into 7? It can go in there 3 times. Remainder 1. How many times can 2 go into 15? It can go in there 7 times. Remainder 1. And we're going to have to add some decimals on here. How many times can 2 go into 10? It can go in there 5 times. How many times can 2 go into 0? 0 times. So we can see half of 75 Rand is 37 Rand 50. I really hope this video helped. If you have any other questions, anything you want me to go through again, please let me know. And thank you for watching.